We were raised by a single mother. When I was about 4 years old, our house burned down. Insurance didn't cover paying off that mortgage. So fortunately, my mom was a nurse and she was able to work a ridiculous amount of hours, some 80 hours a week, and pay off that mortgage while still finding us another place to live. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of really good role models in my life. Obviously, my mom being at the top of that list.
Okay. When all is good, why rock the boat when my child support's low?
Yes.
Okay. We know who it was filed by.
She always very passionately said, I'm going to be an attorney. And she'd look at me with dead set eyes, and I 100% believed her. And not only just becoming an attorney, but actually being a good attorney that is going to make a difference. Erin's passion sets the bar for everyone else in our office. So we're at home on a Saturday night, it's 8 o'clock, Erin's phone starts buzzing. It says a lot of our staff who's feverishly working to prepare for the cases that we're going to handle that next week. They share Erin's passion, and it's contagious, and it's been spreading through our firm.
All right, thanks for staying so late. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. I love doing family law. I feel like I really help people every day. I feel like we really make a difference for people, and I feel like families are benefited from the work we do. I started this firm with $2,500 in my bank account, and in the course of a year, I've helped over 200 families find a way to get through the turmoil that they're experiencing. I'm Erin Morse, and I'm here to help your family find your new normal.
The information provided on this live Q&A does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, all information, content, and materials available in this live Q&A are for general informational purposes only. Information on this live Q&A may not constitute the most up-to-date legal or other information. Viewers of this live Q&A should contact an attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal issue. No listener, user, or browser of the site should act or refrain from acting on the basis of information on this live Q&A without first seeking legal advice from counsel in the relevant jurisdiction. Only an individual attorney can provide assurances that the information contained herein and your interpretation of it is applicable or appropriate to your particular situation. Use of and access to this live Q&A or any of the links or resources contained within the site does not create an attorney-client relationship between the listener, user, or browser, a website, authors, contributors, contributing law firms, or committee members and their respective employers. The views expressed at or through this live Q&A are those of the individual inquirer and their individual capacities only, and the law office of Erin Morse. All liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on the contents of this live Q&A are hereby expressly disclaimed. The content on this posting is provided as is. No representations are made. The content is error-free. Enjoy the show.
Live from the law office of Erin Morse Studios in beautiful downtown Orlando, it's Live with Erin Morse, the only live Q&A where you can ask your legal questions and have them answered live on the air. And now, Erin Morse.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our live Q&A with attorney Erin Morse. My name is Patricio. I will be basically your moderator, your host, the guy in the background with a nice, beautiful voice.
The hype man.
Thank you, thank you. And on tonight's show, of course, we have Erin, we have myself. We're going to have a special guest, and the guest that we have on tonight's show is a former client, and we've helped her out with her legal matter, and she's going to give like a little bit of a testimonial, not too much detail, attorney-client privilege, all those legalities, and we're going to have questions out for everybody. We do have questions from for the live Q&A that we got from our texting service, the Facebook, the emails, the faxes, the letters, the eagles. We still got someone's eagle here, so please come pick it up. But without further ado, let's bring on Erin.
All right.
How you doing tonight, Erin?
I'm great. How are you? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been a very, very productive week.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. This has been by far like just the best of 2020. And I know that's kind of like really weird to say because 2020 has been shit.
Yeah. Also like low bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's
I like to call this week Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of the
that's
way.
what 2020 has been, like how you felt after that.
Yeah, that's really how I feel about this week. It's mixed between that and Screwball, my two
Yeah.
favorites. I don't know.
No, my friend Don introduced me to Mad Dog 2020 last year, and
Last year? Oh
last
my
year.
God, it was like I don't want to tell you how old I was. That was fucking my life.
But no, he had all the flavors. He had all the colors of the rainbow,
Right.
and he basically said, "Let me know what it tastes like." And we tried.
It's like regret.
It really did. It really did. But Erin, do you want to introduce our guest?
So this is our guest, Paige Dershel. She is a former client. That's how we came in contact, but is now a friend. She had a case with my firm that we were able to resolve favorably. And, I'll let her tell you about it. Of course, we're not going to talk about the details of her case because everything that we do is very personal. And when you have attorney-client privilege, you get to own that privilege. So Paige owns that privilege, and she will talk and will only speak about her case in exactly the way that makes her feel comfortable. And you don't get to ask any questions about it, and we don't intend to answer any questions about it. She's going to focus her discussion on what her experience was like, and how we were fortunate to have her as a client. And I really truly felt like when I was going through this process, with her and representing her, that I felt fortunate to be able to see this through for her and get the resolution she needed. Her case is a very good example of why I do this. What happened at the end of her case made me feel like I do this for this reason, right? This is it. This is the goodness of the world that I want to represent. Sorry. It truly is. I truly feel that way. I was honored to have had the opportunity, and that's kind of why I asked her if she would be so kind as to come here and talk and let me talk about that a bit. So this is an example of somebody who I felt very honored to have represented.
So it's my understanding, before we jump into all of it, you had gone through previous counsel.
How many attorneys?
3.
Wow.
Over almost a 6-year
That was
span.
before.
And you were technically the 4th, yes.
Yeah.
And that's over a 6-year span of time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And without going into full detail, what was it that let me put my beautiful face on there as I ask the question. What was it that those previous counsels didn't give to you that Erin did?
A lot of things, but in a word, conclusion. But even more than that, full-on support where I felt like I was very emotional about the situation I was going through. It was a very hard time. And then 6 years later, still going through it, I felt like Erin really had my back and she had my best interest in mind in a way that was, I was very emotional about the case, but she made me realize, put your emotions towards a more positive outlet of finding the solution. And I felt like she was there for me and we were in it to win it no matter what. I've never been supported like that, where being bullied by other attorneys, being yanked around by the courts, in so many ways. It's not even funny that when Erin finally got a hold of the case, she thought it was a joke. Thought we had pranked her.
I was like, this is a joke. This is a silly law school question. I'm like, it's so
It was
resolvable.
really bad. And I even appreciated it even more so because my case is not a typical case that your firm would take on.
It is more complex. It was more robust. It had many more differing issues. But interestingly enough, the judge who it was in front of is a judge I'm frequently in front of anyway.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind being more vague, obviously in nature, but can I, and I didn't realize this until after the hearing was over. I operated myself and conducted myself in the same way that I always do in my same who I am. But this is what you reported back to me. What happened, or what did you, an observation, right? No, you don't have to get into specifics. With that first hearing that we had.
Well, I called it, I think, badassery. I don't really know. There's a better adverb noun.
I'm going to go back to what you just said right there.
Yeah, full on badassery. What happened was amazing, first of all, because for whatever reason, this attorney had it out for me, like you wouldn't believe. Loved putting me on a stand on a whim, wherein I had to answer questions that were completely inappropriate. It wasn't what the judge asked for. It wasn't what the hearing was for. It wasn't the allotted time. What I noticed about Erin is she was so succinct in, well, first of all, allowing the other attorney to go first, which was awesome, because all she did was loop herself into an area where it wasn't what the judge was asking for. It wasn't what he wanted. It completely frustrated him to no end, to where he stopped her on several occasions. Yeah. And then Erin came in and just flat out said, I am going to be respectful of your time and why we are here today. And the way she handled it with such class and confidence, I have never seen anything like it. Her confidence when she enters a room is undeniable. By the court, by the other attorney, trust me, was scared out of her wits, by anyone else in there, her confidence exudes.
No, that is a fair and valid statement right
Yes.
there, because the first time I met you, you scared the shit out of me.
Right? Right? Really?
Yeah, and the thing was, it was in such a comfortable, it was my safe zone, because where we met at our mutual friend's apartment, that was our fortress of solitude. That was our safe zone. And then you come in, I'm like, who is she? And I'm kind of scared. Just like, I hadn't even talked to you yet, but like your presence, your presence demanded like, listen to me.
Yeah. She's a force to be reckoned with.
I'm in very few rooms where I'm the tallest person as well.
Even with those heels?
Yeah, very, very frequently. I'm only 5'2", so having this level of confidence is, and that presence.
It was just the way that you also spoke to the actual events in the room that were happening, and the relevancy of it was what impressed me the most about you. And when we left our first court hearing that day, I felt like you had done probably like 5 million hours of research, but I think it's whether you just internally know all of it and just can pull it out on a whim. It was amazing. I felt protected for the first time, because I always felt vulnerable. And like I said, today is the first time I walked in this office, or every time I'd walk in the courtroom, I would shake uncontrollably to the point where a couple times in court, you would have to like stop my hand, or the tapping. I mean, it was so uncomfortable for me. It was an actual fearful place. So to have someone to make me feel like they have my back, they know what the heck they're doing, and they're there for my best judgments and to actually help me, because this is your life.
Yeah.
You are putting my 6 years of my life were sitting out there of just being abused in so many ways. I finally felt protected. So thank you for that.
I remember that hearing, and it didn't feel any incredibly different than any other hearing. It's what happens in the courtrooms with me. The judge thanked me he thanked me on 3 different times during that hearing. And it wasn't my motion, but he asked me to prepare the order. So he said, I want Attorney Morse to prepare the order. He didn't offer it, but I am the type of attorney that I will give you the bad news you don't want to hear, because then when I step in a courtroom, the judge knows that even if I have some bad facts, which that happens, right? It happens a little in your case.
It did.
I was like, this isn't perfect. What we're here to present you isn't ideal. I'm not representing the perfect litigant. I never will. I'll never be in your courtroom representing the perfect person. First of all, that person doesn't exist. And perhaps they didn't hire me. I don't know any of them. Okay.
But I want to go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but since you really have to come forward with that to the judge. You have to tell your client the flaws in their case. You have to make sure that they know, and you have to just always be honest with the same judge. That's who we were in front of, Jennifer. You know, you present to this particular judge with honesty.
Yep.
You will succeed. He'll say, I get it. My expectation is that you guys are imperfect, and he's okay with that. He doesn't like this woe is me.
Fluff. It was fluff. And honestly, like I felt like it was an attempt of confusion and just to completely crucify me in ways that were inappropriate. That's not what we were there for.
So bad.
So bad.
Right.
So it looked bad on that. And honestly, I took it always before in such a personal manner. And this is one thing I'll also say about you. You said it's not always good news. You also will be stern and make sure that people like me have our crap together.
Oh yeah, she can be very stern.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of times she holds you accountable, which you have to be. And I wasn't for a very long time because it's something hard for me to deal with and I didn't want to face it, which is why I got myself in this mess. It was hard to face up to it, but I remember one conversation we had in your office and you just flat close the door, set the paperwork down and go, look, I know this is hard, but this is your life. Either you step up or I can't do it for you. And I was like, holy crap. I mean, she tells you what you need to hear and it was life-changing for me. And this whole thing has been.
But I really believe that when you want to hear that crappy side of it, is behind my closed door.
It was great.
No one else gets to hear this.
Yep.
This is the garbage that the judge is going to see if you don't do what I'm telling you to do. And I understand that sounded very mean the way I said that. But if that's what needs to happen, I've had a couple of clients who just thought that they could be like, attorney, let me you tell them what to do. You're such a good attorney. You're so aggressive. I'm like, you think I'm aggressive there? I'm aggressive here too.
So I wanted to touch base because you had said something earlier in regards to badassery. With your 3 previous counsels that you had, did they come close or measure up to Erin's badassery?
Well, first of all, I never knew what was going on in my case, ever. Until actually Erin showed me, I think, when you finally showed me the list of files or
the docket,
things that were being told to me were not truthful. And in some ways, one attorney actually was telling me that the hearings were getting canceled from the side of his attorney, wherein it came out that it was not his attorney. So to say the least, I've been a little upset about. You have to have communication, and if I didn't have communication with Erin, I was going to absolutely lose my mind. And she does a very good job of communicating with me. This is what's next. This is what's going to happen next. This is what happens after that. I had, with the second attorney, 0 communication to the tune of $20,000.
Holy.
And you know,
up front.
One of the things that we do, and I remember you commenting on this, is you were like, I get so many emails from you. I'm like, I know. You should be receiving this level of information. Every time something happens on your case, we shoot you over an email. If it exists in paper, it got sent to you.
Thank God.
And if you needed, so you were kept apprised of every step and what the other side was saying in these email communication.
Yes.
And as soon as you had that to be able to be responsive of and to be informed of and be involved in and respond to me on, their case fell apart like a very poorly stitched doily.
And I feel that when a client has that straight communication with and access to their attorney, it gives them a peace of mind to be able to move on a day-by-day basis.
Things are happening. Right?
It made me trust you more, even. I mean, this is what happened with the second one where, first of all, I had to pay upfront the full amount to get through a trial, which was so far away, which never even happened, and had to pay that upfront. And then I never heard from them, ever. Didn't know emails going back and forth with them, even to a point where I was in a restaurant in St. Augustine, and he was 3 seats down from me.
Oh, shit.
And didn't know who I was and called them out on it. And that's when I was like, that's it, I'm done. And my friends that were with me were like, and I said, yeah, I know who you are. I know where you're from. I know what you're an attorney, and I'm your client, and had no idea. So that, you can't have that. Like, even today, I can still text Erin, and 5 seconds, I can see the little bubbles coming back. You have to have that for your peace of mind, or else I was close to losing it.
Yeah.
Now you know why it took 6 years.
But it didn't need to.
Right.
It didn't need to. That's a big theory and a big thing that I really force upon my staff is like, send everything to the client. There's no reason not to. It's so simple to keep them informed, and to just, in keeping you informed on your case, please see below. If you have any questions, we actually have an available link on both mine and Attorney Bonilla's email list now, our email signature block. You could click on a link and schedule a time to speak with us on the phone. You have no real barrier to making sure that you get that unity of speaking with us. That's a big deal, a big thing that we have in our office, that, you know, my paralegals are available if you want to just pick up the phone, and scheduling a time certain call with me is I try to make very readily available if there are questions.
No, and working with previous firms, and I've been in this field going on 7 years now. I've never worked with an attorney that has been so available, not only to the attorney, but to the staff as well. There have been countless instances where I've sent an email, I've sent a text message, I've left a voicemail, and I have the client in front of me. Hey, I need to find this out about my case. You know, what's going on? And I get a response maybe in like 2 or 3 hours later, or sometimes even the next day. And I understand that with being an attorney, running a firm, having to deal with your employees and so many cases, that, you know, time is very valuable, and you don't have that time is a luxury at some points. But at the same time, you need to value not only your employees, but your clients, and be accessible to them whether it's a simple question, a crazy concern, or holy shit, like, this is what's going on right now, I need your help. And there have been countless times where you've gotten a text message after hours and you respond literally right in front of me. Hold on, let me put this down. Yeah, let me take care of this right now. Bingo, bango, bongo. Clients at ease.
Yeah.
Our firm line accepts text messages, so I try to make it accessible, because I understand it's not perfect. I'm not saying I'm always perfectly available, or that I don't take my opportunity, because I have a family of my own, of course, that I'm not unwilling to take my phone and put it on silent and put it over there face down and look my husband in his face and my son and go, yes, I want to hear you read me a book. Right now he reads Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So yeah, so cute. So I'm not here to tell you that I'm always going to be available. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But I do everything in my power to be as accessible as possible. It's why it's a big theory in my office to have that, like, time certain phone calls. Right? Because that is the best way to make sure that I'm there for you, that I pull your file, that I could literally answer the question of, like, do you remember what the child support guidelines said if we had this and that? Yes, because I have a time certain phone call, so I'm prepared and I'm focused on only you and only your case. I want to be there and available for that. So that's how we balance it, how I balance to make sure that I have a family and I get to turn off, because I can't pour from an empty cup, and I know that. So sometimes I need to, sleep and be a person and do that face mask with the coconut, not the coconuts,
Cucumbers.
Yeah.
Right?
Coconuts, I mean, with little.
That's the bra.
Yeah. Wow. And I will make a statement on that behalf too, is something you taught me is you don't always have to text, but document everything. So if I ever did, I remember that was one of our stern conversations is I'd be like, oh, so-and-so told me this on the phone. I don't care. I don't care what they told you on the phone. If it happened on the phone, it didn't friggin' happen. Yeah. Write it in an email, send it to me, paper trail everything. So if it's something super important that you need to talk to Attorney Morse about, it's important enough to put in an email and send it over to you so that your staff, we had a lot of times we had to refer back to things. I mean, what was my file?
Oh, scary.
Was there like 3 of them?
Oh yeah, I have 3 Expanda files on you.
She had to buy an extra Louis bag just to carry it.
That's dues for your case.
I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Hola.
But document everything, because I think that's the most important thing you taught me.
Yeah.
If it's important enough to be in this lawsuit and fight for your life, and it's important enough to keep a friggin' piece of paper.
Right.
On it.
And honestly, that's another way that the case kind of fell apart.
It did.
Right? Because I was like, check out this email, and I attach it. Check out this email, and I would attach it.
Well, no one ever
Happens all the
challenged
time.
that person. No one ever challenged them, and every time she filed one of her 79,537,000 motions, you bounce back not even an hour later,
Right.
and And that was like, I had never experienced that in 5 years. And I almost like, I shed a tear every time I saw them come back. I'm like,
Well, the thing is that this particular case had, the filings were asinine, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
Sometimes attorneys file things and I'm like, that doesn't deserve an answer. They're bullies, right?
It was bullying.
That doesn't deserve an answer because if you give them an answer, you give them what they want. But this one is going to get a response, and then I'm going to call their motion up for hearing. I did that too. Let's call it up for hearing.
You did it 3 times.
I don't think it's bullying. I think it's just aggressive negotiation.
It's bullying. If you would have seen.
Oh no, I'm saying in regards to what you do. No, what you
You're
do.
my opponent, we know.
It just, that was, I don't know, so many things like it just, you're right. Man, where were you 5 years ago? Somewhere. Anyway.
All right.
What questions you got, Patrice? You got
Anything else?
Oh, I do have some legal questions for Erin, and
I think
we can jump a little back and forth.
I
And
think we want to bring Attorney Bonilla in as well.
yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad you were able to
The best.
be here. I'm glad you were able to be here. Thanks
you
for
for
sharing
having
your
me.
experience. Oh wait, come back.
Oh, sugar.
We have one thing that we want to talk about. Do you want to talk about your thing, or do you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad.
Oh,
I know you spoke about it. Do you want to talk about
Sure.
it?
Sure.
Okay.
So, the reason why my life has been on hold for 5 years
Yeah. So
is
that case is over now.
it's over now. Yes, as of March 4th. Thank you. And it's funny because the very next day I got a phone call from someone. I am a teacher by nature in education, but also a writer. And I had copyrighted a children's book many
You have
years.
done so much more than just be a teacher. You're really cutting yourself very short, but that's your story to tell.
Done a lot of things in education. But at this point I had written a story about a scuba diving flamingo named Skamingo. Don't steal it because it's copyrighted. But I had written it several years ago, and a publisher found me and just fell in love with it. I mean, it's an amazing story about, it's so cute, right? And this flamingo finds, I'm a scuba diver, finds a scuba diving tank and goes on this amazing adventure and learns about biodiversity and ecosystems and things he never would have seen before. In the day after, I never could publish this book because of my situation. And
Emotional and mental barriers, you know.
So the day after, I actually got emailed my publishing contract.
Wasn't that a beautiful stroke of luck?
Why isn't that amazing how that just happened? But that, and now I'm also getting married in March.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you. Never been married. This will be very exciting for me. So that's also held off me moving on with the most important part of my life, which is my future and my forever.
So your career is taking off. Your personal life is taking off. Nice job.
I will send you the link to the book.
We'll share it.
Yeah, he's being finished being illustrated.
Ooh, there we go.
It's adorable. It's such a cute story. I can't wait for you to have that freedom with Skamingo.
Skamingo. We're all gonna go on adventures now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for talking about Skamingo and your whole story.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
She's tagging you in.
Gabby.
Woo! Everybody. So no, that was awesome. Sit down.
I know, she's so amazing.
Sitting down with Paige and getting her testimony and being able to, because like there are many times where a lot of clients' testimony is put on a billboard and they're holding a big check.
Well, it's very different when you get a lot of money for your injuries. That's a very different perspective than you changed my life because now I can move forward.
Yeah.
You got me away from that narcissist. You got me out of a domestic violence situation. You saved my children from the abuse that they were experiencing, and you fought for me, and you didn't give up with it. Or just recently we had that trial where, you know, we made sure a child wasn't going to be physically abused because he's autistic, right? We saved that. And that person doesn't want to be on a billboard. Right. I don't feel comfortable putting them on a billboard. That's not fair to them.
Mm-hmm.
I was abused by my husband. You don't get a check for that. Right. You don't want a big picture of that. You don't want anyone to know that.
I would argue that their life is just as much, maybe more, the value of the life has increased as same as you would get a big fat check, you know?
More
Maybe
so.
more.
Because you get an injury, you go to the doctor, you get that repaired. Okay.
Right.
Your family isn't falling apart, your finances aren't falling apart, you don't have extended family judging you, you're not trying to consider how you raise your children, not to stop the cycle of abuse. Like it's different.
It is.
They are not comparable. It's not even like comparing apples to oranges. It is like comparing apples to
Pineapples.
to furniture, right? Apples to furniture. They're different, right? Totally different. So it's I probably won't ever have billboards with, Erin Morse saved me from the child abuse my husband was, conducting, right? Anything like that.
You also don't want to trivialize what the lives.
Exactly. This
hardships
is you didn't get a sticker or a check. Erin Morse won my alimony, right? That's not what it is. That's not what it's about. It's I can move forward with Skamingo, right? That's a gift that she I don't know. Who knows what that could be?
Her new beginning.
Her new beginning. Her new normal.
I was literally going to segue into that. You just took it out of my mouth. So you guys ready for some questions?
So ready.
All right, let's go with the first one. Let me go on me. I was just promoted at job with a huge change in salary and a lot of perks. I've been married for 6 years with my partner. Can I get a post-note? What if she wants a divorce? If I ask, what can happen?
Congratulations on the job. And in the salary increase, that's cool. What do you think, Erin?
You're a jerk. So if she wants a divorce, it probably isn't because you asked her for a post-nup. She's probably using that as a vehicle or as a reason that she's pointing to, right? You really love someone and they ask you for a post-nup or something like that, or you guys want to have a discussion about that, she would be understanding because we'll never use this document, right? Many people, when they have a prenuptial agreement, they enter into this prenuptial agreement knowing full well that they'll never use this document, or being comfortable with the fact that perhaps in a few years we may get divorced and I want to limit how much I have to pay you and settle our issues beforehand. But if you getting a promotion immediately makes you think, I don't want to give you any of this, why are you married anyway? Right? Perhaps you need to think about filing for your divorce, right? This is some counseling that perhaps needs to happen.
Right.
And I think that conversation might need to happen in a counseling forum, because you sound like you struggle with some communication. And I don't know that I love the way that was brought forth, right? And I don't mean to call you out on that, but
there's something beneath the surface.
Something beneath the surface here. So, all right, now let's legally strategize what we could be doing for this, right? What I want to legally strategize on your behalf is to let you know that if you just got a promotion and you don't want to pay her alimony, get your divorce now, because she won't be able to establish that standard of living during the marriage because that money wasn't available, and that pay raise will occur after the date of filing because we can get you filed. It's e-filing. We can do it within a day if you can get your shit together. So I could get you filed within a few days, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can get it together enough. But if you truly want to avoid your risk for alimony, your better bet is to remove her need for it. So how about you support, encourage, and build her and her career up? Put her in a position to have maybe a similar amount of income. How about be a decent human being so she can live well, and then your children get to bear the benefit of that?
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you so much for the question. Next one coming up. I have sole custody with child support. My son and I will be moving to Peru for medical research. Ex-husband says that because of the exchange rate, he should pay less. Is this true?
No, but do it the way you normally do it. No.
Yeah.
No, he's trying to take you for a ride.
Also, what does it matter with the exchange rate? I love
Baje.
no.
No.
No, esta noche. ¿Ah?
Esta noche.
Sí,
Thank you.
Mañana o hay quien limpia la mesa, ¿está bien?
está bien.
Okay.
Gracias.
So yeah, you were saying, my apologies.
That's okay. No. So how you are probably going to receive this money virtually, the same way you've been receiving it, unless you typically receive a check. I imagine it's direct deposit. As a result of that direct deposit, what is he worried about the exchange rate?
Yeah, that does.
That's asinine.
He's trying to manipulate you.
He is.
Checking for right.
He is.
We're not going for a ride today.
Yeah, I ain't going. I'm getting on that.
All right, the next one coming up, and I think because we've had these questions before, but I love it when you respond. You want to? All right. I need to file for temporary custody of my 2-year-old granddaughter. I've had her in my custody since January 15, 2020. Her mother has been gone all the time except for 3 weeks when she comes back home.
File a petition for temporary custody by an extended family member, but grandparents don't typically have rights. So call DCF for abandonment. Maybe.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Short and simple. I love it. Next one. What can I do as a father if my girlfriend takes my kids to Puerto Rico and don't want to bring them back?
Were you married?
Yeah.
If you were not married and you have not established paternity, you need to file a case ASAP. Yesterday.
So that's basically kidnapping in a sense.
What?
It isn't.
It isn't.
No, you have no rights, so she has the rights to go. Bye. So what you need to do is you need to file a paternity case immediately and get her served before she can get out of the country, so she cannot move. And if she leaves before she's served, the court has very little and is very unlikely to ever require her to return.
Right.
We had a comment from Jennifer. What kind of shit is that?
It is some real shit.
Go back real quick to the questions and let's get that one out of the way. Next one. Is it legal for parents of a 16-year-old boy to allow his 19-year-old girlfriend to move into their home?
Yeah, no.
Not illegal.
There's so many.
I already know that one.
I'm like, my skin is probably thinking about it. No, that's no. Statutory rape.
It's not. It's not. Not once you're 16, you can consent. I know you don't like it, girl.
I don't like it, but you it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
So I have a phrase. This is another one of my favorite phrases, where it's not illegal. You just don't like it. And also, the parents are saying it's okay. And once you're 16, you can consent to sex. If they're like in an age bracket, I don't recall the age bracket, but 19 is within it. I want to say it's 21.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. That's okay.
The gap is not.
Yeah, so egregious, right? I think at some 25 that.
I think it might be 21.
I think it might be 21, but I think at some point then they're like, okay, 16 and 40. That's
Consent.
gross.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That guy's sweaty and hairy. It's disgusting.
Oh, no, Jennifer's jumping down on the last one. Not his legal kid until the judge says so.
You right, girl. She watches.
All right.
She's brilliant.
The next one coming up. I have mediation next month, and I just realized I went on a couple of Bumble dates with our mediator a few months ago.
Oh.
Could that affect my case?
It's not going to affect your case, but you have now conflicted out your mediator.
Right.
So you should say so. You should tell the mediator our Bumble dates sucked. So I don't want you to be the mediator.
That was awesome.
Interesting.
All right, so that would but let's say, for example, if I'm going through
What else?
I guess it depends how
How bad?
Yeah. I mean, if it was just kind of like,
I wouldn't.
we were not compatible.
I wouldn't. I still think there would be a conflict in that the mediator statement. They said we shouldn't even be acquainted with each
I think
other.
the mediator would have the obligation to say something. Ethically, he would have the obligation to say something.
Right, I would say
assuming that the
something.
mediator is a man.
Right. Ethically, she wouldn't if it was a woman. If it's a woman, you have less ethics.
No.
Oh.
I'm saying the person receiving the services, right, from the mediator.
Oh, for sure.
If the mediator
for
is
sure.
under that ethical obligation.
Do you think if you were the client, you would say something?
See something, say something.
Yes, I would.
I feel like I don't want this guy to
Right.
if I didn't like him enough to go on another date.
Especially once you tell like your counsel, hey, I know that person. Then
We matched, and then I responded within the 24-hour window.
your SOL.
Yeah, and then we actually met. Like that. Those are a lot of steps in the
There.
virtual dating.
I was saying in the Bumble world.
In the
I
Bumble
see.
world, like it was hard to get all the way to the point of the date.
I have
Right?
no idea what Bumble is. But it doesn't sound good.
Paige is like, you guys are right.
Yeah, they're hyping up the buzz. All right, let's go to the next one. I had an injunction against my wife. It has expired. We have separated. How can I ask for spousal support? I'm paying all my own bills and rent and struggling, and she pays nothing with friends. She stays with friends at no cost.
Well, if she's staying with friends, I don't know that I foresee that, alimony is need and ability.
Right.
So does she have the ability if she's staying at a friend's house? So if you file for temporary matters, right? File your divorce, file for temporary matters. The judge is going to have to determine if you have
The need,
and if she has the
ability to pay.
proving that isn't as easy as you think.
Right.
You can't just go, well, I only make this amount of money and they make this amount of money. The judge is going to be like, not enough information, denied.
All right, thank you for the question. We're down to our last two, and then I do have.
It had nothing to do with an injunction either. So you probably, because you've been separated for so long, it'll be harder for you to prove that need and ability.
It's another important part about your case. If they've been separated for a long time and you've been somehow surviving.
Yep, for a whole year. I imagine when it expired, it's probably been about a year. It creates more of a complication to your request for alimony.
Well, how nice you are with things. I'm like, you fucking lost. You lost by not asking right away.
This one's going to be quick and easy. How does one address a court mediator during mediation? Is it sir or ma'am? The appropriate non-moniker?
Nomenclature. You were like stuck on that one.
I was.
I mean, I guess it depends when that person introduces himself. They usually have a little spiel, right? If that person introduces themselves by first and last name, or if they want you to call them like sir, usually mediators, they allow you to call them by the first names. It's supposed to be an informal process for you to feel like open to talk and negotiate and feel like it's a safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right. And to add on that, I think that you as a person who, even though you're in an informal setting, it's a very professional process being in the legal system. And this, if it were me in that shoes, again, now maybe I live in a more professional world, it would always be ma'am, sir, Attorney Jones, right? That's a good one, because typically in family law, they have to be attorneys to be mediators. So attorney, whatever, let them correct you out of those phrases.
Agreed.
So,
That's usually how I roll anyways. I call someone Mr. or Mrs. until they give me the permission to call them by the first name.
Yep.
That's just how I was raised, and it comes out naturally, but
So basically it depends.
You boo.
So basically it depends.
it depends.
You really want to
All right, and now we're down to our last question. When I met my wife, her home was shit. We got married. I did over $20,000 of repairs in a span of 3 years. I filed for disillusioned marriage because she was cheating. Can I ask for that money back if she stays with the home?
Okay, when was the house bought?
prove it.
Yeah, that's the other part to it that I was going to get to. It is hard to prove what you are asking for. So if the house was bought during the marriage, it's marital, it's fine. Whatever increase of value, the appreciation of the house, you guys are going to, partition the house, which basically means sell it, and you're going to divide that equitably, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get that shared in equitable distribution. But if it was before marriage, you would be only entitled to the amount that you put in and the appreciation, the difference of the appreciation of the house.
If you can prove
If you can prove it, it is hard to prove because you
It
need to get
is.
an expert. You need to have a person go out there do an appraisal
And what else do you need an appraisal of? What the
the
value?
fair market value of the house when you allegedly was shit, right?
Right. You need the shit market value and then the current market value, right?
Yep.
So that's rain.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
pouring.
really?
Yes. It looks like a sheet. A gray sheet is outside the window.
Welcome to sunny Florida, folks.
So you'll need to prove how much you put into it and that you put into it. So the advice now for those of you in your intact marriage, you should ensure that you are documenting everything. Like we said with Paige, document. If you can't prove it, testimony may be enough in some circumstances.
Or at least a fair market value.
Right, for a number of things, right? But often it isn't. So where you have the ability to have documentation, have it. If you don't, then you try with arguing it and testimony evidence, but sometimes the judge has to decide the veracity. Who do they think is more truthful?
All right. Well, we thank the texting service, all the listeners for sending in their questions via
And for Paige.
and for Paige. Oh no, we still got a little bit to go on the show.
I'm still here, yo.
And actually, Paige, can I get you to sit right there because I want to get her reaction with the stories that we have and the videos that we have.
I'm gonna step out for 20 seconds. You want to sit here and do a couple of reactions?
Okay.
And then I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, sorry, love.
You're good. You're good.
I'm in my own little world.
So the first video I have is something I saw on. Let me put it on me. The first video I saw this week, I saw it on Facebook, and when it comes through divorce and separation, whether it's a boyfriend-girlfriend situation or what have you, sometimes it ends ugly, and sometimes one party or the other will do something really, really messed up, like here. I'm gonna
Get in the car.
I look like a bomb that was like detonated when you get in the car. That's sociopath.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So the person that was putting the gas in
We
there.
should have put a warning label like will contain graphic.
Disclaimers, dude.
But your thoughts on that?
Sociopath. That's like vindictive level of sociopath, you know? Like we all know that we could do things, but should we?
Yeah, like you said, it's one thing to think about something, it's a whole other thing to actually carry it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know why they broke up.
But
It's flammable.
Like I don't know.
It got inflamed. But
Passion. Inflamed passion.
inflamed passion.
So the next one I actually talked to Erin about earlier today, and it's Mike Tyson.
Oh Lord.
Have you been watching his? Have you seen any of his videos on social media where he's just training like crazy?
No. Is he
No.
doing like a Rocky compilation?
That's basically what's been going on. But today they finally announced who he's going to be fighting. All right, and let me just share.
He's actually gonna fight.
He's actually going to fight, and let me pull this up.
I'd love
He's
that.
going to be fighting Roy Jones Jr.
Shut the front door.
on September 12th in an 8-round exhibition match. So Iron Mike Tyson against.
That man is.
What's the difference between an exhibition match and another?
That is a good
Is it not the
match.
full 15 round- 13
Oh no,
round?
that's okay. So basically, in an exhibition match, it's not going against your professional record. It's basically for show. So a lot of the rules in regards to the having the TKOs before the 4th round, the score system, it's a lot different. It's basically kind of like a sparring event,
Okay.
but there's still going to be
Amateur.
exactly. It's more of an amateur thing.
It's amateur hour.
I like MMA a little bit better than I like boxing.
But dude, you gotta wait for like Mike Tyson to do something cray.
But yeah, he'll take an ear off.
You're off.
How we can't forget about it. We gotta talk about it. I'm not done with it.
Starts tattooing the other guy's face in the middle. You know, like the guy pulled out the pen in the NFL and signed the thing. Watch him pull out like a tattoo pen.
He's gonna put something crazy. Everyone's gonna watch for that, right?
Yeah.
He needs to do
Yeah.
something fun.
He has to. He's now a show.
We need to have a
Now a
party
show. I want to mention my love for MMA, and he's like, if you heard who he's fighting, and my initial reaction to this, which I wish, is the example why you should have
Yeah.
said it to me here. I asked if it was going to be Conor McGregor, and I was like, oh, I love Conor.
Spunky little guy.
I love him.
That's why you like him.
Yeah, that's right.
But your thoughts and
I named my son Connor.
You are the Conor McGregor of attorneys.
oh my God, you are. You basically are.
Like, I could see you licking your knuckles when you walk into a court. Let's go. I'll go 10 rounds. What's up?
I love
And
this.
so grab her Fendi bag and like swing her around.
I'm like, I love this. I don't know. You threatened me with court, and I'm like, please.
Yeah, you were too. Yep.
But your thoughts in regards to Mike Tyson making a comeback at I think he's 54.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, whoa, I was a little shocked. He's still a very large, healthy, in shape man, but that wear and tear is gotta be rough.
I mean, he still got it. I mean,
if he lands a punch,
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Right.
But I don't know that he has the mental capacity, and there's a lot of mental stability that has to go into that kind of thought.
he's crazy. He's gonna bite
He's
your ear
okay.
off.
And he felt.
I mean, he's a legend, and
Should have left that behind.
it's like that story. What do they say? You either like retire or die when you're a hero, or live long enough to.
You
Right.
you.
What is it?
Oh
Me
my
and my
God.
superhero.
I know. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, that was Two-Face.
That was Harvey Dent. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Yes, 10 points to me.
By the way,
Patricia wins.
So, all right. So the last one,
Look, I'll put up Ryan's.
Okay.
He's creating a Legends League. All other athletes. That's a good idea. Maybe we should match them up. Jennifer Benjamin made a really funny comment too. I know we're going back to the Bumble.
No, by all means.
If our Bumble date is to hit up this mediation and going hero, that's exactly how I would feel. Like, this date was awful. You must suck as a mediator. I don't
that's
know.
a weird indication of our world today, though. Like, you
Yeah.
go on a Bumble date with your mediator.
Yeah, I mean, I met my husband on Bumble.
The way that the world.
I've had 2 horrible dates in the past month with Bumble.
Bitches like me.
Oh,
Yeah, my poor husband.
So the last story, the last one is a story that I found earlier today, and I want to get your guys, especially you, Erin, and Gabby, Paige, by all means, weigh in. Okay, and it's an article that I saw. People are using artificial intelligence to help sort out their divorce. Would you?
Yes.
So the story comes from.
I'd try. I'd bring it into practice.
So the app is called a Meek, and it's being tested out in Australia, where they're using basically an amazing AI program to collect all this data and try to help the couples resolve their legal matters.
Okay.
And they're basically using the data from previous cases to apply in other cases. But then there's the one thing that I always say: not all cases are the same.
And that's exactly right. And
the emotional factor.
that's exactly right. You can't have a robot have that relate to you and empathize with you and have compassion and walk you through all these things that, the cycles of grief and the process. The process you may not want the process to be so fast. You may not want to get divorced in 6 months by a robot. Like, it's maybe your issues are very complex and require more human attention. So I think, and maybe in some cases, sure, especially if it's like financial in nature, like most of the problems are financial in nature, that might be helpful, but
You better have 2 very logical people. Because otherwise,
Also, how could you have a computer make a decision on if we had this case recently, right? And I'll be real vague about it, but the judge had to make a determination in a 1.5 hour hearing that the husband's actions were a detriment to the children. And the only evidence that we had really to present was testimony of both parties. And they said opposite things.
Correct.
of course.
Wife says this happened, husband says it doesn't. How do you get to the point where who do I believe, or what facts could come forward? Or, we had very vague text messages from the father to the daughter that really, if you looked at them individually, they looked like normal. But when put with all the information of what happened in the household
And the context.
and the context, so like the context of what was happening on that day and how that exactly worked out, it became very different. It made it it was very clear, in my opinion, it was very clear to the judge that there was detriment, that his saying "I love you" and demanding that she says "I love you" back, or the frequency with which he said "I love you" during the time of day was indicative. Whew, that word it just wasn't in there. I don't even know.
I'm not gonna make a joke.
Yeah. It really indicated that it was very likely that there was a connection of detriment, or that there's a high likelihood of abuse. And it isn't necessarily that the judge said, "I'm finding that there's abuse." The judge basically said, "I'm finding that we need more evidence, that you're going to need a few more discovery tools, guardian ad litem, social investigation, a number of things that are going to be necessary for us to make sure that there isn't abuse," right? They want to prove that it's not happening.
Correct.
So
would a computer be able to do that?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
And he can't answer email because he's buffering.
I wouldn't trust something.
Why, think
I
about
agree.
your case, right? Imagine we put
That's exactly what I was thinking.
put those figures into a computer system. Would it make sense?
No.
So, and I'm going to read this directly from the article. According to Amika's website, it considers legal principle and applies them to your circumstances. In other words, the software draws a mass data from similar past cases to make suggestion to users. So it's not offering legal advice, it's making suggestions to move forward.
Okay.
So here's my other problem. The law constantly changes, right? And it changes with our political climate. For example, gay marriages are now very commonplace. I imagine 40 years ago, if the husband they got divorced, they're divorced, the divorce went fine, shared custody, whatever they called it at that time. And then the court found out that the husband has a live-in boyfriend, right? Both very nice, great, kind, wonderful people, right? He would have lost custody 40 years ago.
Right.
It would have been gross and improper and something
Very
you
Tiger
should-
King-ish.
Just one. But, and he would lose custody, so he would have to hide that. Today, if a couple were two men who had children, right, a gay marriage, and they had children, we don't blink an eye. We treat them like regular litigants.
Right.
Or even if they were to have, shared parenting and 50-50 time sharing, because that's what we call shared custody now. And the former husband later remarried a man, that their marriage broke apart because he was gay and wanted to be with a man, or bisexual, or whatever the iteration of their unique family is, that nobody, and the wife was like, emergency loss of time sharing, no, because he has a husband. No judge would entertain it.
Right. And I've seen old case law that, because there was that kind of affair that was,
Homosexual.
that it found to be a detriment to the children, right? The exposure to that was a detriment to the children.
Or the potential for exposure, even though they didn't expose the children to it.
Right.
Did it in the privacy of, a quiet without your children. Yeah, that you being that kind of a person is what's bad. So, AI wouldn't be able to put that forward adequately because it would, because those,
compute.
Yeah, exactly. Those cases are not overturned expressly. There's no case law that says that this is bad case law, right? That's not how case law works.
It's just the Florida statute has been revised and
But it's also, it has to be
evolved.
argued, right?
Yeah.
Your Honor, you wouldn't consider this today.
Right.
It's not how, even though it's good case law, it hasn't been overturned. The artificial intelligence of Westlaw and Lexis will not identify that case ruling as an overturned case law, will it? It's just culturally, you wouldn't do it today. You wouldn't make that argument. If the judge heard you make that argument, they'd go,
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Right? They just would. It wouldn't be a viable.
Oh yeah, your camera's up here. I'm sorry.
You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't make that argument, even though it's still good case law from 1978, right? So not even that old. It's still good case law. And you could try to rely on it, and nobody would be like, well, that's bad case law, and Westlaw and our artificial intelligence that we use to do legal research isn't going to identify it that way. So I already think we have an example of it, and it fails.
Yep.
Me either.
It's my second TED Talk.
But no, once again, we do want to thank Paige for coming all the way from where you did. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Giving your testimony. It's an incredible story. And we look forward to the publication and the distribution of your children's book. And I can't wait to have you on Chaos to talk about it.
I think I'm gonna have a baby, or I'm gonna try to have one just for the book.
That is
Good idea.
That is on camera in the log.
But I'm going to pan back to us, to Erin and myself real quick, and remind everybody to go to OrlandoWeekly.com and make sure to
You're
vote.
taller than me. I'll squat.
There we go.
I'll sorority squat.
Wow.
Make sure to go to OrlandoWeekly.com and vote for the Law Office of Erin Morse for Best Kept Secret here in Orlando, and also Best Local Big Shot Erin Morse. Because believe me, she's a fucking big shot. All right, I can't say it in any other way. But yeah, go to Orlando Weekly. The voting is almost over, so it'll honestly take you a few moments. Go to OrlandoWeekly.com. Vote for Erin Morse for Best Local Big Shot and the Law Office of Erin Morse for Best Kept Secret. Because honestly, as Courtney said, I mean, you're
Badassery.
Yeah.
We'll post the link to Orlando Weekly. And don't forget that if you missed any of these videos, they're all on our YouTube station. So be sure to watch them. We see that our YouTube station actually has recently gotten a little bit of a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So, keep watching that. We're gonna be adding more videos to that and more material, and you'll see us more in the community in the coming months. We've got some really great plans.
Yes, we do.
Patricio is knocking it out of the park. He really is. He really is making
Best
shit
fight
happen.
man ever.
Yeah, best kept secret is Patricio, and he's mine. I heard another attorney tried to poach you.
Oh yeah, no,
Can't have you.
we're not going to talk about that one. But also go to our Instagram page. We're having a little fun contest right now with the post that we have, and we're giving out a $10 gift card to Taco Bell for the funniest comment. So go to our Instagram page, and if you can't find it, go to www.morse-firm.com. Click on our little Instagram page. It's going to be on the top right hand side. Yeah. I'm like doing everything in my head. Yeah, right hand side of our page. And you'll see all the logos for our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our YouTube.
You can remember with your hands. That makes an L.
I don't know why I went that way. Because,
I don't know why either.
I could
The
look at
teacher
the
over here almost fell out of the chair.
It's like not gonna be there.
We're gonna teach him how to tie his shoes right after this.
Coming
Please
up
do.
next on the next week's
Can
episode.
you guys show me how to loop, swoop, and pull? Because I always.
No, it's the bunny ears.
I know I've always bunny eared. That's why I'm saying someone teach me to loop, swoop, and pull because I've been bunny earing my entire life.
We got you next week.
Next week,
Tie your shoes.
send your best videos.
But no, as always, if you want to schedule a conversation with Attorney Morse, 407-900-7451. We're located here in downtown Orlando. Check out our website, www.morse-firm.com. Don't forget to vote. Check out our Facebook. Check out our Instagram. There's a lot of things going on, and you should catch up.
All her.